Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Strategy Room interview series. I'm your host, Pete Lawson. Today, I'm joined by Isabele Lodygensky. I got that right, didn't I, Isabele?
You sure did.
Fantastic. Okay, that's a good start to the day. Okay, Isabele, could you, now, just for all you folks out there, Isabele's been with Focal Point for a short period, but been in the coaching business for 2 years. But Isabele has some very interesting things to talk about international business, which she was involved in for 10 years. Isabele says that she's a coach just for the last 2 years or so, but we realize that when we are entrepreneurs in business, we're a continual coach. So Isabele, tell us a little bit about you, your journey, where you've come from to be sitting in the chair where you are now.
Yes, of course. So I'm Brazilian. I came to the United States when I was 17 on a golf scholarship. Graduated and was supposed to go back home, but stayed in America. And because of my language skills, speaking Portuguese and Spanish and English fluently, I ended up landing these jobs in corporate America and international business. So I worked in that industry for over a decade. Then started focusing on education and became an entrepreneur. And and I, like you said, I believe I've been a business coach to an extent since I got out of college, not knowing it. So it's just, the fact of formalizing a title or a career around it with the certifications is one thing, but the job itself has been basically my entire career.
Okay. So tell me, let's get into the questions now. So what's the most common misconception about business coaching? Because you mentioned that to me before.
Yes, the first one that I find very common is that coaching should be used as a corrective measure, right? That you should be looking at your team, at the performance of the individuals, and identifying who are the lower performers, and they should perhaps have a coach. And that's a great and a very big misconception, because a coach is a person who actually elevates greatness. And it's really the other way around. As a business leader, as a C-level executive, when you are looking around your team, you are to identify who is really performing really well and who is producing well and who is keeping the team together, who are the people that are retaining your good people. And those are the individuals who need coaching to continue to polish those skills and truly elevate these individuals to contribute for growth and employee retention. So the way that I like to look at it, Peter, is, I would think most of our listeners today know who Michael Phelps is, the swimmer, right? He is in the water and his head's down and he is hard at it, working and swimming. And his coach is outside of the water, right? His coach is observing him and paying attention and refining every single area of his performance so that he becomes the Michael Phelps that he is. So coaching is really a collaboration of an expert alongside another person who is an expert. I am not saying that coach is not necessary and sometimes needed as a support system or a corrective measure, but to answer your question on misconception, coaching should be focused on elevating performance of already great high-performing individuals. That is your greatest rate of return on coaching.
Yeah, I think what we're getting back here, Bella, is coaching is a holistic view. Don't go hopping in the pool. You can't help anybody in there. And I see so many coaches wanting to get in and get their hands dirty. And what you say there, that's a very good synopsis you have there. Not to get your hands dirty. We're coaches, not consultants. They get confused a lot of times, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, so let's have a look at some other things here. What was the biggest challenge you faced when starting your coaching business, and how do you overcome it?
So the first one was basically the industry not being an industry that's regulated. And, you know, you and I talked about this a little bit. So when you are in search of a business coach or an executive coach or a life coach, those are, or a mindset coach, those are, you know, every area on the coaching industry has its own niche, and you should be looking for an expert on what it is that you need. Some coaches have a wide range of experiences and can bring all of these pieces and parts together and holistically guide you forward. But for example, I am certified as a business coach and an executive coach. 90% of my work is on the executive front, right? I am much prefer working with individuals and the people side of businesses than the business itself. It's a choice. Can I do both? Yes. But I think that perhaps being very thoughtful on the credentials of the individual that is in front of you, because it is an industry in which any person can self-label and self-identify as I'm a coach. So I would say be very careful with ask a lot of questions. If you're new, you know, I'll give you Peter a statistic. There 1% of the most successful business leaders in the world have business coaches. That's alarming, right? That's a very low number. You have very experienced, high-performing professionals who are just now looking and seeking to understand the value of having a collaboration of a coach. So if you're new to this and you're listening to this podcast and you're like, oh, I need to explore this, first thing I would say is be very thoughtful, very mindful, and ask really good questions to understand the credentials, the experiences of the person who's offering you the services.
Yeah. Okay. So getting back to this regulation situation, we both agree, certainly, Isabele, you know, about regulation. It is important in any industry. It's a pain in the neck sometimes, but it is important. But it brings out a bit of skepticism regarding coaches. So how do you handle skepticism or resistance from clients? And what strategies do you use to break those barriers?
Well, in my case, I have developed and created a reputation for myself. So I have, you know, if a person wants references, I have a long list of clients who speak on my behalf, and can truly speak to the impact of the work that we have done together and the transformation that has happened in their personal lives and their professional lives. So the skepticism would say, if the person who's in front of you is trying to sell you a service instead of offer care and collaboration, that was something to pay attention to, because the way that I look at it is I don't sell anything. I am a business coach and I'm an executive coach, but what I am is I am a collaborator in your quality of life. And I have experiences and strategies and knowledge that can help you utilize your own tools to transform yourself and reconnect with your family, grow your business, maintain and retain your employees. So the skepticism could be, I personally, Peter, don't, perhaps I want to say I'm grateful to have built a reputation in a business in which in my community, people know who I am. They know the quality of my work. They can go online and, you know, look at both of my websites and go on LinkedIn and look at references and who my clients have been. And that speaks for itself. But I also think that the way in which I present myself and what I offer is genuine and it's authentic. And I do this work for impact. And my clients and the individuals who come across me feel that. So I wish I could give you a better answer on the skepticism, but I'm not sure I'm the one.
Oh, no, that's fine. Well, it's great that you have actually answered the question, because you do have a strategy. And that strategy is all the hard work you've put in. You're letting people know that you've been in the business world. You are reputable. And of course, you've written a chapter in a book, and you're writing a new book now, I believe.
Correct. You know, and I also, I want to say that, let me just take this back, because I don't want to say that I don't get a no. There are a lot of individuals I speak with who will say no, not yet, or they are not ready, or they don't understand the value that I would bring to their lives, or they just feel that they, you know, whatever they have is enough right now. And that's totally okay. So, but not wanting a coach or not needing a coach would be very different than being skeptical about what the person is offering you, right? So the important thing is that the person who is in front of you needs to understand what is the value proposition, what's available to them, and what's the outcome, the quality of outcome in having a collaboration with you, that in the event that they choose to not be next to you, they can say, well, I'm okay without working with Bella, and or perhaps I will be better if I work with Bella. And it's very important to respect that, because I have had coaches all of my life. I have won 3 national Brazilian golf championships, and I have earned other beautiful things in my life. And not one thing I have achieved has been without a coach. However, I have had moments in my life in which I needed a break and I did not want a coach, and I just wanted to navigate life on my own. And it's important to listen, to understand what is it that the person that's in front of you is looking for and needs at that moment.
Okay. So brings me to the question of clients. We can all learn from our clients, but what's the most important lesson that you've learned from your clients?
That we are all in it together, Peter. We all have desires and aspirations, and every single one of us do not have all the tools that are necessary to navigate life. Life is complex, and it's challenging, and it hurts at times. And once they let the guard down and they allow space for me to come in and collaborate, there is this beautiful transformation, and every single one of them has room for growth and change. And that is what I've learned. We're all human, and we're doing it together. And I learn just as much from my clients as they learn from me, which is why I call coaching a collaboration.
Okay. So we get back to this situation of regulation in the industry and whatnot. How do you believe the business coaching industry is evolving, and what can upcoming coaches do to stay ahead?
So I believe that it is evolving because this is interesting. I just recorded another podcast on Friday, and this was a big part of the discussion. You know, there's a generational need, because if you look at generations, 3-4 generations ahead of me, I'm 49. So if I'm speaking with leaders who are on their 70s, 80s, and 90s, it was a natural progression of their profession to lead their industry, to lead themselves, and leave a legacy behind. And they would have the time to coach the younger generation behind them. Today, the world is so fast-paced. There are so many demands on our leaders, and they barely have time to do their own work and take care of their own families, much less to be coaching others. So I believe that the need for coaches has increased due to the speed as to why businesses and how individuals operate in the world. You just can't keep up on your own. You need another set of eyes. Everything is just moving too fast. It prevents mistakes. It prevents errors. It keeps you on the right track, moving forward. And it's just the nature of the game. You know, the coach is the person who's going to slow you down for a minute and make sure that you don't detour in a dip hole, and it was an oversight. There's no really room for oversight at the top, and it's a fast-paced environment. You need a set of eyes to help you.
Love it. Well, that's it for today, Isabele. It's been fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. And it was great meeting you and learning not only about your entrepreneurial journey, but about your sporting capabilities as well. Golf, 3 times champion, Brazilian. Oops, I won't want to play you for money, I can tell you now.
We don't need to play for money. We can play for fun. That would be, okay. That would be great. So,
or you could probably coach me some things. Actually, when I was in accounting practice, one of my clients was a golf pro, which is fantastic. But you know, golf is wonderful. So, what handicap do you play off now, Isabele?
I have a 5 handicap now.
Okay.
I have a businesswoman handicap now, Peter. I don't have a lot of time I play golf with my clients. I really do. It's a
Yeah.
great way to help them.
Yeah.
You know, spending 9 holes on the golf course with them, we can clear a lot of things and resolve a lot of things together while we're catching some fresh air. And
Yeah.
but it's golf is time consuming, and I'm
Yeah,
a busy woman.
I'm sure you are. It's 4 hours of being with the client. Okay, thanks again, Isabele. Now, to everyone watching, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you got plenty out of it. I hope you took a lot of notes, because it's fantastic. Obviously, you can see this on my YouTube channel. Isabele, I should say, will have this probably up on her own website. So look her up on LinkedIn. She's there, and comes from Nashville. So that's how you'll recognize where you've found the right person. Now, I look forward to our next episode in the next few days, and I just guess I'll see you on the other side.